Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Point Loma.
I know. Yeah. Hey, everybody. So, thanks again for joining us. We're having consistently trying to do Facebook Lives and blog post releases on Thursdays. Sometimes that happens, sometimes that doesn't. So I'm thankful that you're here.
I'm thankful that I'm not in my workout clothes this morning because I'm usually in my workout clothes,
Yes.
and I actually got to dress up a
We're
little bit
dressed.
today. I'm like dressed. I look professional.
Well, this is awesome. So Mandy we've been longtime friends. We've been longtime like business besties, encouraging each other on the path and journey. And Mandy was also part of our photo shoot when we did all of my imagery for the website.
Sassy girls.
It was so fun, but it's been cool to like kind of grow in business and life together. So this post was a huge thing for you because
In the making.
Yes.
Months in the making, and finally I'm like, I have to do this. I
Yeah.
have to like really sit down and pen it, and I'm really passionate about it, so I wanted to contribute this to other business owners and just to Andrea in general. So
Yeah, well, we really appreciate it. So, if you haven't already, Mandy has preached this book, and I read it after recommendations from you many times. And it is such a good book for anyone in business, anyone seeking direction and guidance. So, Start With Why is the book that the post is about. You can go onto the website, onto the blog. It's our most recent post. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about this today. Feel free to jump in, put any comments in the blog, in the comments on the Facebook forum. And we would love to address anything that you have that you want to ask Mandy. But yeah, so let's start. So you have a lot, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, copy here.
This is, yes, and
This is like my
post that
treasure.
picture of you guys.
Yes, and I have a picture with Simon. It's funny how this all just kind of came full
Uh-huh.
circle. But I'll kind of tell you how that all unraveled.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
So you obviously had been encouraged to pick up this book, and so I know there's a lot that you want to talk about how it affected you, but let's talk about how you got started in entrepreneurship and what that looked like for you.
Yes. So I did not go to business school. Teaching was my background, and I was kind of at this point in my life where I was like, what am I going to do now? Like I started a family, and I think as women, as you start families and your life changes, if you've had a career before, or you're kind of like, well, what is my life going to look like now? And I took this like passion of mine, my creative side, and which was the furniture painting and restoration, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to maybe like bring this to other people and let this be a service for other people. Like, why not? Why not, allow people to have what I created and kind of start this like small business. And so I decided to kind of run with that, and it was more like a hobby, but then I found myself super busy with it, and I was like, wow, I didn't even advertise myself. But word of mouth was definitely got around, and I think that's where my entrepreneurial side really kind of started, was just dabbling in that. And then honestly, about 6 months later, an opportunity was presented to me with another business, and I was like, wait a second, I'm so busy right now, I have so much on my plate. How could I fit something else in? But at the same time, it was very desirable because it was around my own hours. And I was like, you know what? This is another great opportunity. It's a business I know nothing about. But just the fact that I could call the shots in my own life, set my own time frame, put my kids first, it just made sense to continue with being an entrepreneur and kind of see where it would take me. So that's kind of how I got started, and I just kind of ran with it and decided to really indulge in learning about being a business owner.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and so Mandy and I worked together a couple times with like just doing imagery and stuff. And I mean, you got featured for your work with what you did with the furnishing. Remember?
Women, yes. In Women's Day magazine, Andrea was the photographer.
And we just, I think it was just like a really neat to see how, like you said, a creative hobby can just develop into this really big passion project and then a business, So That's so cool.
Yes.
So then let's talk about the meat of this book and why do you think it made such a big impact on you? I mean, obviously he's a great writer. Simon has, if you go on to YouTube, you can see some of his talks. I mean, amazing, amazing guy. But this book really does have so much common sense.
It really does.
Really good, just thought-provoking stuff. So what's some of the main things that you feel like affected you?
So I think for me, why it made an impact too was really self-discovery. And I think as business owners, sometimes we put professional development on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I was not a reader. I mean, it was just not, it was not something that I loved to do. And it was always something that was last. And so when this book was recommended to me, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be a business owner now. I know nothing about what I'm doing, and why not? I need to learn.
Right.
And so this was one of the first books that I read. And I think just the fact, like I said, it really kind of makes you take a deeper look inside yourself. And, you know, we don't always like to do that, right? Like being vulnerable is really difficult. And I love this saying that if you want something that you've never had, you have to do something that you've never done.
Oh,
and
awesome.
This is something that I've never done. And I was like, I'm just gonna engulf myself in this and really start reading. So it wasn't, unless it was a magazine, I usually didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
But
you kind of just went all in and took that piece of advice and said you just maybe knew intuition, maybe there was something there.
Yeah, and you know what too, I feel like as women, I'm a former military spouse, and I feel like, and I know you can relate to this, we really put our feelings under the rug. We kind of stick our feelings and our thoughts in a box because just to get through day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And it's natural for us to do that. So this book just made an impact on me in that sense that, you know what, I don't have to stick my feelings in a box anymore. My thoughts are important, my passions are important, my why is important. And this allowed that just to really come out in me. So.
Yeah, which is amazing. So if you guys haven't already, you can kind of look on the forum and see that there is a link to our most recent newsletter, the BIP newsletter. If you're not a part of that, definitely subscribe. So we sent out this great little freebie download. So Mandy's blog post, and you can take one too, honey. So this is really the core of the book, and you kind of highlighted the steps. There's 4 simple steps that Mandy goes through, gives you some examples about the importance of the Golden Circle model that Simon really just, he does such a great job of conveying that.
And if you Google his TED Talk, I recommend watching that. He actually has this on a whiteboard, and he goes through that and kind of what the Golden Circle means and the why and the what and the how. Do you want me to just talk a little bit about?
Yeah, why don't you share a little bit about it? And again, go ahead and get your free download, and then also check out the blog post. We'll put some links later when you post some stuff, maybe the picture of you and Simon, and just put some things that you would recommend for them to maybe go through this.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead, honey.
Yeah,
so what
absolutely.
about this was impactful?
So for me, you know, like I said, I didn't know anything about business. So when I was really reading this book, a lot of it just made sense. And why, when you think of certain companies, why they're branded well, or why they're big companies, and you know, Apple always comes to mind, and how innovative they are, and what that means for them. And I think as a business owner or a company, it's very easy to start from the outside in instead of from the inside out. And on the outside is the what and the how, and the what and the how are really just about logistics, and it's the process. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. How am I going to do it? What is that going to look like? It's the process. And it's very easy to do that because, let's be honest, the why is all mental. And usually we do the hard things last, right? We don't do the hard things first. And so the hard thing is really looking at, why are you doing this? Why? What does this mean for you? What that passion and that purpose? Because that's really going to draw the audience, or who you're trying to reach, or what kind of service you're trying to bring people, is why you are doing it. And Simon's quote in this book, I really hold it dear to my heart too, is if people don't buy why or what you do, they buy why you do it.
Right.
And so I think this is super important, to really work from the inside out instead of working from the outside in. And that's how you will be able to separate and kind of understand why companies flourish and why they don't.
Yeah.
So you'll be able
Yeah,
to
and that's
kind of-
powerful. I think that's really so key to the success. And he, a lot of times, like you said, references amazing companies like Apple and how they do what they do. So he really breaks it down.
Yeah.
Even some thought leaders of our time, like he references Martin Luther King and how his why impacted this entire movement. And then it's interesting though, because you have a why person a lot of times, which is like a leader, an innovator, but then you also kind of have these what people that you can surround. So I love the collaboration aspect he kind of goes into in the book. But so what were the couple of the biggest takeaways? And we're going to wrap up pretty quickly here after this. If you have questions, I'm checking the forum. Feel free to ask. Mandy is a wealth of information because you have just totally, like you said, it's encompassed your journey through the success of your multiple businesses that you have. So if you don't get a chance now, please feel free to ask Mandy. She's a member of our forum. She's graciously shared her story with us. So tell us, just to wrap up, what are the few biggest takeaways that you think would really impact women in business?
Yeah, so I feel like sometimes when we look at the why, sometimes it's hard to find your why, okay? And that's why I put some steps in that blog. And I actually saw that Simon came out with a workbook about finding your why. And I'm hoping that some of the questions that I put in there about peeling back the onion to really find that why is probably going to be in his book. But that's really important because most people think that a why is it's a goal. They think it's just an end result. And it's really much, much more than that. And so one of the things that really sticks out for me is it's allowed me to really kind of put my fear aside and to be much more vulnerable to find my why. So like I said, it's easy to really just kind of focus on what you think that the goal might be, but it's not really a goal. It's something that you're going to hold really near and dear to your heart. And here's the thing about business. And I've known this time and time again, as for the last 5 years that I've gone through this journey, is that when shit hits the fan, when things don't go right,
that will happen.
Which it's going to happen a lot. If you don't have a strong why, and if you don't hold that why near and dear to your heart, you will crumble. And a lot of people will quit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will throw in the towel, and they think, well, this is just too hard. It's not for me. And they just focus on the what and the how too much, and they're not really focusing on why they're doing it.
Yeah.
So most people have this very surface-like why. And so when you go through the steps of peeling back the onion, it allows you to really dig deep about why you're doing this and what your passion and your purpose really means to you. And we have a saying in our businesses, if your why doesn't make you cry, it should definitely make you work. And the thing about our business is that when you're trying to reach pinnacles or success, success is not a straight line, okay? It's not going to happen. Success is very messy. It's curvy. It's there's roadblocks. It's like a circus. I mean, success is very messy. So if you do not have that strong why, and we call it bulletproofing your why, mostly likely you will not continue with your business, whatever your business is. It could be opening up a pizza shop, or a branding business, or a software company, or a jewelry store, whatever it is. But you have to really figure out, why am I doing this? What does this mean for me?
Right. So Mandy shares a lot in this post. And you were just really open and honest about your journey and kind of where you were, some of the struggles that she faced, things that were going on with her that not only like really caused you to really focus in on your why, but then also like refine your why.
You
so I
have
love
to
that
revisit
too.
it.
Yeah. So Mandy kind of talks you through those. She gives you examples. So we would love for you to interact. Below this post, definitely feel free, add any questions that you have. Mandy's happy to answer those. And we just so appreciate you sharing it, because we're all about enabling women to share their journeys, shared struggles, successes.
Yes.
And Mandy's had, we've all had a good mix of both, right? But it's always nice to have someone be really open and honest and transparent about those things. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, take a look at the blog post. Mandy will jump on later, post some of the things that she was referring to with Simon's TED Talk, and we just encourage you to definitely focus on starting with your why, getting down to the core of why you are passionate about what you do. So yeah, and we're always here to help and support. So the Better Business Babe is here for you, for the community, the connection, and then support with any services that you need to do with that. Like Mandy said, we work together with imagery a lot in the past. But coaching, consulting, all of those things are things that we offer. So the bottom line is, you don't have to have it all figured out. When you know your why and you're solidified in your passion, you can pull in people to help you with
Collaborate.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So.
I think that's the beauty of what Andrea has created in terms of what the service that she offers people is that you are in business, and here's something else that I always say, you are in business for yourself, but not by yourself, which means there is a tribe out there to help you, whatever success is to you, and how you're going to reach that and how you're going to get there is that we have this collaborative group of people.
Yeah. Which means a lot.
Empowering women, right?
That's
we all want to
right.
empower each other, and I love that.
That's awesome. Okay, girls. Well, we so appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much, and we will definitely be coming to you with new content on Thursdays. So look for our next blog post coming up, and if you're interested in that, definitely look over our brand new website. You'll see Mandy all over that.
Yes, and thank you for allowing me to get dressed up this morning.
Yes.
Brianna Sanchez, this is a necklace that I bought from you a long time ago from your business.
Oh my gosh,
I wear it all the time, and I get compliments on it.
That is an amazing necklace. Okay.